You haven't had pasta till you've had pasta alla norma. This thing is gonna blow your mind. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of More Seasoning. I am your host, Farnum, and we are in a new kitchen, in a new house, in a new state. Me and my wife moved from Florida to California, where the produce is a little fresher and the weather is a little better. Listen, today we are making pasta alla norma. It's an Italian classic. It is loaded with flavor and incredibly easy to make. The ingredient list is minimal. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Feels good to be back. For our ingredients, we're starting with an eggplant, a fresh shallot, an optional chili pepper for some heat, fresh basil with the stems. We're gonna cook the stems. Some good old finger stink, feta cheese. Try to find an authentic one. Whole peeled tomatoes, a rigatoni of your choice. I've got this nice colored one. And it wouldn't be Italian if we didn't have some olive oil. All right, we're starting with the prep work. We're gonna begin with our eggplant. Now we're gonna cut this into two shapes. We're gonna start by slicing it into thin rounds and then cutting those in half. Next, for cubes, we'll cut it into 1/2-inch rounds, then slice into planks and then into cubes. All right, so we've got our semicircles. We're gonna spread them out and we have to salt this. The reason being, there's a lot of moisture in this eggplant, and if we go to fry it, it's not gonna get crispy with all the water. How do we get rid of the water? Salt. Once we've got them all in our strainer, we're just gonna cover them in salt, and please, you can go heavy with this. Now we're just gonna kind of toss everything together. That way the salt gets all over everything. Now this is gonna take like 15-20 minutes. That's why we did it first. We'll prep everything else while these start to drain over the sink. Now we got a shallot. We're just gonna slice this into rounds. So you're gonna take the top off, remove the outer shell, and this is exactly what you're looking for right here. All right, now we got 2 cloves of garlic. Grab some large ones, and all we're gonna do is slice the butt off and take that skin off. Next, we got a chili pepper. This is optional. I just prefer a little bit of heat in my pasta, so all I'm gonna do is slice this into small rounds. All right, now we've got our basil, and normally we just use the leaves, but today we're also using the stems. We're gonna pull some flavor out of those, so all we're gonna do is separate the leaves from the stems. Grab about 8 to 10. All right, for this next part, take your rings off. We're gonna crack open a can of whole peeled tomatoes. This is gonna feel weird, but you're gonna reach in and you're gonna pull these individual tomatoes out and just crush them. The reason why we do this and not just use a puree is because this lets us control the consistency of your tomato sauce. You guys ever had a pasta where like the tomato sauce has little chunks of tomato in it? It's because you got it like this. I've never tried this brand before. It's called La Valle, but they're San Marzano tomatoes. Apparently this one is straight from Italy and these are supposed to be gas. All right, when you squeeze the tomatoes, you're gonna get a lot of water. So this is just some tomato sauce. So I just add a little bit in just to thicken that up a bit. Beautiful. Before we grab our eggplant, the last thing we're gonna do is just fill our pot up with some water and salt. And the best part of this new kitchen is I got a pot filler right next to the sink. Super dope. All right, and lastly for our prep work, we're just gonna lay out a few paper towels. I usually do 3 pieces, and now we're just gonna lay our eggplant out. And once we've got them all laid out, we're just gonna press them down with paper towels, and that will help get rid of a ton more of that water. Prep work is done, let's hit the stove. All right, we're over at the stove. This is different. I'm used to having somebody film me, but here we are, and we got 2 cameras. We got this one and this one. Hello. We're gonna fry this eggplant off. We're gonna start with the semicircles. All I've got is a large frying pan on a medium heat, medium high, and we just wanna get a nice layer on the bottom of this. 1/4 inch, if not less, of olive oil in my pan. Our oil is getting nice and hot. Now we're just gonna go ahead and lay our eggplant in a circle just so we know which one we fried first. Now, because we cut these very thin and we removed a lot of that moisture, these are gonna cook super quick, so just have some tongs ready to flip them, and we'll do these in batches. After about a minute, I'm just gonna flip, and once they start to get some color like this, obviously this side's a little more done than this side, that's fine. We're just gonna take them off onto some dry paper towel. This is exactly what we're looking for right here. We've got nice color on both sides. Now we're just gonna continue with the rest of our batches. All right, perfect time to debut a new trick that I taught myself. So when your pan starts smoking, if it's not crazy full with oil and you can do this without spilling it, just take a wet, cold cloth and then just hit the bottom of that with that wet, cold cloth. And instantly it stops smoking. And then we can keep pushing without burning anything. As you can see, we have all of our semicircles finished, and now we're just gonna go in with our cubes. We're just gonna let these go on one side. We're gonna develop a little bit of a crust and then just continue to move them around. Now, if you'll notice, I use the majority that have the skin on. It's because that skin gets nice and crispy and adds a nice little crunch. I just prefer that to a little bit of a softer piece. Hi, I'm in this frame too. Okay, look, as you can see, a lot of these are nice and browned. I just went and flipped everything. That way we can get a little bit of color on every side. These don't need much longer. I'm gonna go ahead and take them off now. All right, so we're done frying. I took most of that oil out. I left a few tablespoons in. We're on a medium heat, which is low medium. I know it's been a while. We're taking our basil stems and we're just gonna pop those right in. On top of that, we're gonna take our shallots as well. We're gonna pop our shallot rings in and our chilies. Very important to remember, most of the time, whenever you add some fresh veggies in, you also wanna add a pinch of salt. This is gonna bring out the flavor and also reduce the moisture that's in there. Just gonna toss my rings. The oil that we cooked that eggplant in, plus these aromatics and these shallots, smell absolutely incredible, just like this offer it. Go ahead and move those around. We're gonna saute for about 3 minutes total. Now we're ready to add our garlic, but if we shave it in, it's gonna burn. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a splash of our boiling water. So I'm just gonna take a ladle, add that in there, pop this back on the heat. Then I'm gonna take my 2 garlic cloves and just grate them in. Because we grated the garlic in, it's got a ton of surface area, which means we're gonna get a lot more flavor, but it's a lot easier to burn. Again, that's why we added the water to kind of almost boil this in a sense. How are we feeling so far? I know it's definitely a change of pace. I'm not used to being on camera the way that I am right now because it's been almost a year, I feel like, since we were cooking recipes consistently on MoreSeasoning, but let me know in the comments. All right, it's been a few minutes. You can see that the water has pretty much reduced all the way out. This garlic smells incredible. And now we're going in with our tomatoes. Let's make sure we get all of that in there. Now we're gonna mix. All right, now there's quite a bit of water in here from the tomatoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this on a medium heat and we're gonna let this bubble and reduce, and those flavors are gonna concentrate and be insane. Let's pop our rig in. But first, we need to salt this. We wanna salt it pretty heavily. I'm throwing a few tablespoons worth of salt in there, about a serving's worth of rigatoni in there. All right, now we're gonna let these boil for about 8 or 9 minutes or until al dente, because we wanna finish cooking it in the sauce. What happens is we get a 90% of the way there, we cook it in this bubbling liquid right here, and the pasta starts to absorb the flavors that are in our sauce into the noodle themselves. It's a game changer, trust me. Learning lesson for everyone. Check your bag. I just checked, this is 6 minutes, not 10. So that means I'm only gonna cook this for about 4 or 5. I'll check it and then finish it in the sauce. All right, so normally this would have been reduced by more now because usually it takes a few extra minutes for pasta to cook, but because this one cooks so quick, we're gonna pivot. It's nice and al dente. We're gonna finish it in the water that we already have in here, and then we'll go from there. And what I mean by that is if we need to add more pasta water to finish cooking this, we'll do it. We may not need it though. So you see how there's still quite a bit of noodles above the water right there? We want to add more water to kind of let these, again, finish cooking. I'm just gonna add 2 ladles in there. Now that water level has risen, and these are all gonna finish cooking. I changed the heat to high, and as you can see, everything is boiling and bubbling, cooking along in here. And what's great about this is the starch we added from the pasta water is gonna kind of bring that sauce together as the water evaporates out. All right, guys, check this out. So if I move my spatula, you can see there's barely any liquid left. This is thickening up. I'm gonna drop my heat to about a medium now. Barely any water in there. Our sauce has thickened up significantly. So what this means is we can start to add some torn basil in here. Nice pop of freshness. Everybody loves basil with a red sauce. And now we're gonna take about half of our eggplant. We're gonna pop our semicircles in there, as well as about 3/4 of our cubes, and then we're gonna mix. And this is just gonna take it to another level, guys. All right, now at this point, we got some basil stems in here. Just go through and pick those out. And the final step is we're gonna grate our feta in. Now you're supposed to use salted ricotta. I couldn't find it, so I doubt you guys are gonna be able to. You're just gonna use a good feta cheese. Shred that in there. Oh wow, look at that. Beautiful. Let's give this a mix. Guys, oh my God, this smells insane. Now, before we plate this, you know we have to do a taste test. It may need a little bit of salt. Now that we've got our cheese in there, we can taste for salt. Yeah, you can use a touch of salt. You always want to taste before you plate. So I'm just gonna add a couple pinches. Not too heavy because I am gonna finish with ricotta. Taste tests are gonna be a little different. I wanna take advantage of this beautiful natural light that we have. Pasta alla Norma. Oh man, this is gonna be insane. Cheers to MoreSeasoning. We're back, baby. Oh my God. The eggplant, the feta, can't even imagine with the salted ricotta. Oh my God. I'm usually somebody who pushes back like, you can't change a classic dish. Yes, you can. However, I don't even know how you could make this better. Those tomatoes taste insane. This could be death row meal. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have to close your eyes with every bite, you know for a fact it is a 5 out of 5 stars. This right here, pasta alla norma, is insane. It's my first video back in like a year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, in the comments, let me know if you got any feedback. I'm open to it always. My name is Farnum. This is More Seasoning. This is pasta alla norma. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm gonna see y'all on here next week. We back, baby. Let's go.